Alright, so I don't know if anybody even reads my blog or not, but I thought instead of doing a blog this week, I would vlog, do a little video, and maybe jump out of my comfort zone. I'm a little uncomfortable being in front of the camera, but I think it's good to jump out of my comfort zone. And I'm also at work, so excuse the background. But I just think this week, the last couple weeks at therapy, I've been learning a lot about myself on a deeper level than I think I've ever really learned. And then also just a lot of realizations that, like, they're hard to hear, and it kind of is hard. It's just hard to hear when you realize certain things. But I've been going to therapy for about between 2 and 3 years. I think I've been seeing the same therapist, and he's a wonderful guy. He's great at his job. I love going. There's moments when I hate going. It was off and on there for a while because I did not want to be there, and I felt trapped when I was there. Not that he trapped me, but like I didn't want to disappoint him and get up and walk out. But there was moments when I literally felt like that's all I could do, and so that kind of made me feel trapped a little bit. So I didn't like going, and every so often I think every time there's a moment when I'm like, I do not want to be here, like, get me out of this place. But luckily he's really good at his job, and he's helped me stick around and stick it out, and it's been completely beneficial. But lately we've been diving into a little more meaningful stuff, or like personal stuff, than I think we ever have, and it's completely out of my comfort zone because when I'm uncomfortable, I make jokes, and when I'm uncomfortable, I will flee or run away from the situation. And lately he's been talking to me about situations that do make me uncomfortable, and do cause emotions that I'm not comfortable with, and it's actually been completely relieving almost. I leave feeling like, yeah, like, I'm glad I got that off my chest. I haven't talked about that in a while. Like, I feel good. And it's also like making me realize things that I don't think I've ever realized before. And it sucks, these realizations. Some of them aren't pleasant realizations, but we're getting there, you know. One of the biggest realizations that I came to is my lack of believing in myself. I don't give myself enough credit. I don't give myself any credit, actually. So I don't believe in half the things that I say. And the funny thing is, with going to therapy and reading online or Googling philosophy quotes, and I've been given so much, and my wonderful therapist has taught me so much that I'm so thankful for, and I don't think he even understands his impact on my life. But it's believing. You can have the greatest therapist in the world, you can have the best medication you could have, but at the end of the day, you have to believe what you're saying. What's funny is, I have a lot of people who would come to me for advice. They know, oh, Caitlin struggles with anxiety. Let's go ask Caitlin about this. And they'll come to me, hey, how do I get through this? Like, what do I do? And I'm like the best advice giver, but I'm the worst advice taker. I could give the same advice I'm telling myself, but it just comes down to believing. And that is the hardest part for me, is believing. And I think more so recently I'm starting to realize that. I'm waiting for this magical door to open up, and someone to be like, da, 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 like, you're cured, or this is why you've been feeling this way. That's not going to happen. And sometimes it feels like a death sentence almost. Sometimes I literally feel like I was just given like 95 to life, or whatever they give people when they go to prison. I don't know. But I do, honest to God, sometimes it's heavy on my chest. I'm like, I can't do this forever. There's no way I can continue doing this with this amount of anxiety. There's no way. But I think once I start believing that it's not something it's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. I think once I realize that and come to terms with that, I'll be good. Once I come to terms with the fact that these are just thoughts. I'm reading a book right now, The Power of Now, I know the guy's name, but I'm not going to say it because I'm going to totally murder it. But I'm only in the very beginning of the book, but in the very beginning of the book, he talks about your thoughts being just thoughts and trying to understand or learn how to just sit with your thoughts without having an input on your thoughts. I think that I'm saying that right. Basically, sit and be with your thoughts without judging them. Just listen to them happen without having an influence on them. To train yourself that nothing bad happens when these thoughts come. They just feel uncomfortable. And I'm having a hard as hell time trying to sit there. My problem is I fixate on the thought and then I try to change the thought, because naturally you try to fix the thought when you have anxiety. Oh my God, I have anxiety. No, you don't. You're good. You're good. You're good. So I try to change the thought rather than sit with the fact that I have anxiety or the fact that I think that I have anxiety. I think we don't understand how in control that we actually are. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to grasp. Ugh. There's never gonna be a day that I don't struggle with this. I think it's just shitty to realize that, but there really isn't. There's never gonna be a day that this doesn't affect me. It's just how I look at it, or everybody has these thoughts. Everybody, we distort them so terribly. People like me distort them. And I've done it for so long that it almost seems impossible to think any other way, to think positive or think that I'm enough. That's one of my biggest things. Is I had said to my therapist the other day, I just want someone to know what I'm going through. I want my fiance to tell me, why don't you see how strong you actually are? And he's like, what did you just say? And I was like, I want my fiance to tell me, Caitlin, why don't you see how strong you are? And he's like, Caitlin, why don't you tell yourself how strong you are? Why don't you see how strong you are? You're a strong as hell person. Why don't you believe that yourself? I could be my own validation, but I have such a hard time believing that I'm enough to give myself that validation. I'm looking for it from everybody, my parents, everyone, and it's not good. I need to be my own validation. I think in time I will get there, and I don't want to say that I have faith, because I don't think that's necessarily the right word, and I don't even really know if I believe in myself at this point, but I do know that I've made it this far, and I've bossed through basically every challenge that I've been given, so I know that it's possible, and I will hang on to that until I later on maybe learn how to believe in myself, and however long it takes, I'm gonna chug it out, and we'll see. I know I can do it.